Hello and welcome to another one of our conversations here at St. Luke United Methodist Church. We are hosting a conversation today in a series of conversations that we are putting online for you to see. These are conversations we're having with staff and leadership at St. Luke to help you understand the kind of direction that we're navigating as a church, and also, main thing is for you to get to know our people and who the faces of the people who are helping to lead us forward as a church. So today we have Phil Phillips with us. Phil is currently our chair of SPRC. He has been engaged in the life of St. Luke United Methodist Church for a really long time, and so we're going to delve into that a little bit. But first, I just wanted to ask you, how long have you been engaged with and a part of the vibrant life of Walhalla?
Well, I'm 74 years old. I've been in Walhalla my whole life. My family is from Walhalla. We're, third or fourth generation here. Born and raised here. Been here all my life. Good place to live, always has been. I've never lived anywhere else. I visited a few places, but this is a hard place to be. It's a good place to raise a family. Good people here, so I appreciate the fact that I was blessed enough to be born into this town and still here.
So it's a tough place to beat, Walhalla, South Carolina.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you raised your family here, and the church has been an aspect of, what you have built in terms of family in the life of this community in Walhalla your whole life long.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking to my sister last night, and we came up with, when we were kids, there were 20 people in this church with the last name Phillips. Mm-hmm. Still a good number, and some that are descendants that aren't necessarily Phillips with the last name, but they're descendants of the Phillips family, so a lot of Phillips here. Most of them pretty good.
Very good, very good. There are actually several Phillips families anyway still in our church.
That's right. Yeah.
From different places, yeah. Not even the same family altogether. So that's pretty good. We are all one spiritual family. All one spiritual family. So you have kids. You're married. You have kids. Where are your children now?
I have one son. He's in western New York State. He's in a little town called Leroy. He's a doctor there. He has 2 girls. We have 2 grandkids. We're going up in a week or two to visit for the graduation, high school graduation of one of them. So his wife is a nurse. He's a doctor. So a lot of medicine in the family. We get some free medical advice. He's very proud of him, very proud of the whole family.
Very good. So I noticed, Phil, I call you on your telephone a lot. I noticed that your voicemail has a young child speaking that voicemail. Is that your granddaughter?
My granddaughter, that's about I don't know, 6 or 7 years old.
Okay.
She was about she's 18 now, finishing high school, so she was probably, 10 or 11 when that was done. So, yeah, that's her. She says, "This is Phil's phone. Please leave a message."
Yeah. That's cool that you saved that message on your phone like that. Very good. So you are our SPRC chairperson at St. Luke. Tell us, what has that work been like over the last few years here?
This is my 3rd year as chairman of SPRC. Janelle always reminds me to tell people what SPRC stands for. So it stands for Staff, Pastor, Relations, Committee. So we're I guess the liaison between the congregation and the staff. So this is my third year and last year. We've been very fortunate in the quality of people we've had on this committee.
Yeah.
We've had have had three or four or more on there that have been chairman of this committee, so that they've been through it and understand what it's all about and what the processes are. So it has been and still is very good people on this committee. It's been a pleasure to work with people that like we have. So
absolutely. It's a good team that you all are working with for that committee. So the way that I think of SPRC, Phil, SPRC is kind of like the church's form of HR. Isn't
that's right.
That what you would say too?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty accurate.
Yeah. And so we've worked over the past 3 years during your time as chairperson to find a new intersection worship leader.
Right.
That's one of the things that we've done.
Right.
We've also worked to find, so our secretary retired under the time that you have been our SPRC chair. So we found another secretary at our church.
Right.
So those two persons, Susan Cumby is our intersection worship leader, and now Tanya Watson is our secretary or administrative assistant here at the church. So y'all have been pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, this committee, under kind of normal circumstances, we do with the employee evaluations, mainly the minister and our recommendations for his either returning or to be reassigned. That's most of the biggest part of what we do. But when we lose an employee, then we have to find somebody to take their place. So we have been busy the last couple of years, and very fortunate to have hired Susan Cumby and Tanya Watson. They're here. They fit right in, and we're glad to have them.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Phil. You mentioned pastor evaluations. We talked about SPRC being kind of like HR. So let's look to the future a little bit. What do you think about the next year or so in terms of the work that the SPRC will be doing? Do you have any expectations that you could tell us about?
We're looking to hire a youth minister in the next few months. Outside of that, unless somebody leaves, whether you're reassigned or we have an employee that leaves, I don't anticipate any of that happening. But unless that happens, then we're kind of going to be business as normal and hopefully keep the people that we have.
Yeah, you mentioned the youth minister,
right.
And so we are currently actively looking for a youth minister. Yours truly is the one that has kind of taken on that role for the time being, and we're happy about the progress that is being made currently, and feel like that our church is ready to take that next step.
Right.
So looking forward to seeing what that process will produce. Okay, so something fascinating, I think, about you, Phil, is the fascinating perspective that you offer is that you've been with St. Luke through many of the ups and downs that we've experienced
right.
For decades. And I want to hear about some of that. I know that this church experienced a church fire back in 2009 and really rebounded well from that tragedy. I mean, it was tragedy in ways that were, we rebounded in ways that were life-giving and that were spirit-led. And we're facing our own battles currently.
Right.
I just wonder if there's any kind of word that you could offer from the wealth of your experience here that would help us in our current cultural church moment.
Prior to the fire, our church was struggling. Attendance was down. We'd been through some difficult years. We have a member that jokingly says that we need a fire about every 5 years. Well, we don't need that, but the fire brought a kind of a rejuvenation and renewal of people's faith, of their love for this church. We rebuilt a church that was similar to what we lost. That's what the people wanted, what our people wanted. But it was quite an experience for everybody here. There again, we were fortunate in having great people on our building committee. It could not have been any better. We had a good builder. That process went very well, and if you look at what we rebuilt, and we're very proud of it. Mm-hmm. But it was a catastrophe at the time. It was. We got a call about 2 o'clock in the morning that the church was on fire, and we came up, and there were a number of people from our church that were here. We found out about a week later that the fire had been set. It was a case of arson, and it was set by a local teenager. And immediately after the fire, this church made the decision the best thing they could do is forgive this kid and move on. So that's kind of what we did. And we're fortunate we had a new minister coming in, and we jokingly talked about they sent him to Walhalla, told him he doesn't have a church. The good news is he's got a church to go to, but the bad news, he doesn't have a building. But he came in, and he was a good fit for us at the time, and went through the building process, and everything turned out good. We came out very strong, a stronger church. Came out with probably a new perspective on what the church needed to be. That we need to reach out within the community, not look inward towards ourselves and try to solve our problems, but all that would fall into place if we got out and involved in the rest of the community, and that's pretty much what had happened. So.
That was around the time that we visualized the food pantry ministry, and when that started to kind of birth itself and has evolved over the course of the last 10, 13 years to where it is today.
That's right. Yeah. The food pantry is, I think it was either started while we were in a temporary building, or it might have started just prior to the fire. But we operated while we were under construction, and that has been a blessing for this church and this community. The people that I was talking to a lady at the grocery store first of the week, and she was talking about what she comes to the food pantry. She was talking about what a blessing it was for her and how much she appreciated it. And I told her it was a blessing for us too. That we were glad to do it. So, Lewis and Susan Roper got it started. There's a lot of people involved in it now, but they made a big commitment to get that done, and it's we're proud of it. Very proud.
Yes, it's an inter-church ministry at this stage to where it has grown now. We depend on volunteers from all kinds of churches and organizations to help run the pantry. And right now, we're able to average between 100 and 180 different families that benefit each time we have a food pantry, which is that's growth. That's tremendous growth over the course of the last few years in relation to that ministry. So I'm proud to be a part of a church. You know, I'm sent here by the bishop, but I am proud to be a part of a church which has a heart for the community around it. To me, that is vibrant, Jesus-led theology being worked out through the life of this church in ways that, like I said, I'm proud to be a part of that in the present time. So, okay. Well, I have a few other questions for you, just because I thought you've been here your whole life, so you're committed to this. You're devoted to St. Luke as a church, as an organization. And I wondered, what value do you think commitment and devotion add to an organization, or in this case, the church? What do you think the value of commitment and devotion is? Can you put that in a word?
I think to do that, let's talk about the food pantry.
Okay.
And like I said, we've developed a connection to the people that come through here, and the commitment that we make to serve those people. We get a lot of satisfaction out of that. We not only help those people through the connection with the food pantry, but there's other things that we get involved in that help them too. So I think that goes back to the church. You get there's a lot of peace of mind in being involved in things like that, and you're doing the right thing, and it's the right thing to do. There's a lot of good people in this church. A lot of people go into that too. So that's a difficult question, though.
I know it is a difficult question. Hey, so what I hear you saying, Phil, is that there are channels of connection that God is leading us to create, and we could call it maintain, with the community around us. One of those is the food pantry.
Right.
And when we live, I'm going to say, purely and truly into that channel of connection, of relationship, then God meets us there. And there's blessing on that path. There's blessing in that connection. There's blessing in that relationship. You said in one of the first questions I asked you that we feel like we're helping the community, but we're also blessed by the community.
Yeah.
To me, yes, I want to say yes to that. That is absolutely like right on target. Exactly how I feel and think about that too. So, all right, one more question, and then we'll conclude the interview. But what kind of a place do you think people could find here at St. Luke should they choose to get involved here at St. Luke? What do you think that they would find here?
Well, first, I think there's a lot of good people here. I think there's a lot of friendships that are kind of begun here. We have our Wednesday meals, fellowship meals. We all get together and eat. We have our supper club where we all get together and eat. But they're good people, kind of down to earth people. That they have the same, and I guess it's true of most churches. They have the same vision, the same commitment to see the church do the things that are important. I think if we've had people to come in, new people to come in to talk about how well they were received and how friendly the church was, and that's the reason they stayed, and that's the reason they became members. So I think that's what you'll find, just good people, good people.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'll end today's interview, and I want to say thank you, Phil, for being here with us and answering all our tough questions. And
let me say one more thing, okay? You thank me, I thank you, because you came in here with a commitment to this church, and we're glad you're here, proud to have you. We're expecting at least another 20 years out of you.
Okay. Well, we will see where God takes it.
All right.
And looking forward to seeing how God will produce fruit in our togetherness in the future. I want to say you're invited on the journey. If you're watching this today, we invite you on this journey with us. We have several sort of social events that we've planned for the summer. You'll hear about that and announcements on Sunday mornings. But we got one event coming up on July the 13th. It's going to be a picnic outside type style gathering. You'd be invited to come and just check us out. Come meet our people. There is something about the warmth, the acceptance, and the love of this people that I believe you would be invited by. And so that's an event. You could come any Sunday morning, come check us out. We'd love to have you anytime. Thank you again, Phil, and we'll look forward to joining with you again in a future interview. Friends, thank you for joining us today.